Hey everyone, today's episode of Still Untitled was brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to build and create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your ideas. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and incredible 24/7 customer support. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. And for listeners of Still Untitled, if you use the offer code Untitled at checkout, you'll get 10% off. Squarespace. Build it, beautiful. And on with the show.
Welcome to Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm.
Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's always a good morning these days.
Yes, it is always a good morning. We are in the last few weeks of production on Mythbusters. This is the big announcement. I guess we're starting right off with it. And my schedule is ludicrous at this moment.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
busy.
I know it's usually ludicrous, but right now it's even more than normal.
We said this a long time ago, and people who came to the podcast late have never heard it. When Norm and I started working on Tested with you guys in 2012, we thought we were pretty busy up until that point. And then we got a good grasp of what your schedule is like on an annual basis. And I honestly, like, now I understand why people have to have people that help them know where
Why
to be.
you need a team, yeah.
Why you need a team of people. Because you guys are, your time is booked on weekdays anytime you're outside of your house, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and to put in some perspective, I don't think that I fly a lot, but I'm wrong. I have my kids. I split custody with my kids with their mom week, right? And I genuinely managed to not have to travel on the weeks that I have the boys. So over those 25 weeks a year that I don't have the boys, I still fly about 100,000 miles a year.
Wow.
Just in those weeks.
Just in those weeks.
Frequent flyer miles.
Wow.
All the hotel plans. Ever rewards plan ever.
It's a
Vacations.
lot.
Yeah, that's 40 cross countries.
It works out to something close to that. I mean, we were in Abu Dhabi this summer, and
Hey, we tried not bearing the lead, but let's talk about that Star Wars trailer.
Wait.
No, that's I know
We will get to that.
The number one thing people have been
we will
asking.
get to that. But yes, Thursday was announced. Wednesday was announced on an Entertainment Weekly's website, and Thursday in the magazine that Mythbusters is completing its run on the Discovery Channel. This is bittersweet. It is also awesome in this regard. Most shows on cable just stop. Their ratings start to dive, and the network decides not to renew them. And in this case, Discovery, in partnership with us, has agreed to send off Mythbusters and put it to bed properly. So we have been since January, I'm sorry that I couldn't tell anyone, filming the final season of Mythbusters, which will air early 2016. It is a countdown of goodbye. We've chosen a whole bunch of iconic categories to shoot episodes within that hark back to the history of Mythbusters. And we have just Thursday completed perhaps one of the most insane stunts I have ever participated in my entire life.
Something to say.
I showed you guys the phone footage.
Oh yeah. You showed us two angles because you showed us the
Yeah,
there's a shot from, there's like a 2/3
Yeah,
isometric, and then there's one from the side. The one from the side was unbelievable.
Yeah, we didn't even expect that would. I know, it's awful.
I'm
for us
so
to talk
sorry.
like
I'm
this,
so
But
sorry.
we didn't even expect that would actually be a shot. We were just putting that camera there for sound, and the shot that it got was insane.
So you guys have done 13 or 14 years
14 years.
14
2002 is when we started filming.
of Mythbusters. At this point, you have a team that you've worked with now for a really, really long time.
Some of them have been with us as long as 12 years. And I think, the shortest timer is like 7 years. Oh, wow. So this is a family. It is a family, and it is an incredible, incredible crew. And I might have said this before, but it's also a small crew. We're only about 19, 20 people in San Francisco. And if you walk on the set of most television shows, it's like 70 or 80 people on that set. So we really like it intimate and quiet. And like I said, it's family in every sense of the word. We've all seen each other at our best, and we have all seen each other at our worst.
Well, and I mean, I have to imagine that has to be. I mean, it's emotional anytime you wrap something up after a long period of time.
Yes,
but just the people is the thing that I get upset about.
Yeah, well, one thing is Jamie and I do extracurricular stuff. We've done some stuff for corporations. The fact is whenever we do, we try and hire our people to do it, and most of the time we're successful. And I truly hope to keep as many of these folks busy in the next year as I can, because I work incredibly well with this group. And one of the things we say to clients is, if you'd like this video to be done in the time frame that we want to do it in, because it's very tight, you got to hire our crew, because our crew knows exactly how to work with us.
Yeah. So how do you feel, though? How do you feel looking back? You've had a few weeks to digest and go through the interviews.
I've had months to deal with this. And to be honest, up until about a week ago, I was really, really suffering. I went through all the stages of grief. I said this in the EW article, but I mean, seriously, like, food didn't taste as good, and coming in here to noodle around in the shop was just unsatisfying. We went through this whole post-Comic-Con destruction here, where it took me about 3 months to get the shop clean. And I genuinely was grief-stricken, semi-depressed on that front. And, I've wrapping that last sequence last week and the announcement finally being made really, I think, provided the catharsis that turned the corner for me to feel a lot lighter about it. It is great to finally be able to talk about it openly. The outpouring of Mythbuster love on Twitter and social media has been incredible and humbling. I mean, all these people saying, you got my kid interested in STEM. I'm an engineer because of you guys. Holy crap. That stuff is just, I don't know what to do with it except put it in my pocket and be glad that we had that interaction with people,
And I don't think you're going to
say thank you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for letting
I'm
us know.
retweeting constantly.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think you're going to feel that impact for years. I think in a lot of respects, it's like astronauts who watch Star Trek.
Right.
And
yes.
Right. And you're not going to feel that until, you have guys like Jason Reitman who love Mythbusters and informs how they think, critically think, but it could be 10, 15 years from now before the next, batch of astronauts.
Yeah. And it's parents come up and we've become sort of, I've said this before, but I think we've become sort of patron saints of the autism spectrum disorder. I do the signings at Maker Faire. I'm sorry I didn't go last year, but whenever I do those signings, there's parents who come up and say, your show's the only thing my kid slows down for, and it showed them that there was a possibility. And again, this is so far outside our original mission that it's astonishing. So I love this show. I love making this show. I will miss making it. I really am excited about the next stage. And one of the great things about the Twitter feed, my Twitter responses, is a lot of people are saying exactly what I'm thinking, which is they're saying, can't wait to see what happens on Tested next year. And they're right. It's totally both feet. I was in the elevator in Las Vegas yesterday. I did a corporate appearance yesterday, and this guy gets in and says, I'm a sign painter. I was a sign painter for 30 years. Now I paint boats for the LA County Sheriff's Department. And I love your show. I've been watching it since the beginning. Wait, what was my original point?
How many boats does the LA County Sheriff's Department need
Apparently
painted?
A lot. Oh, right. He said, I love your show. I love the one-day builds. I love it when people say that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he says, but there's not enough of them. And I said, that will be remedied next year, my good man.
We need to clone Joey.
Yes.
I'm working on it.
Is there anything, 14 years is a really long time for a cable TV show.
Yeah.
Like, it's an insanely long time.
260 hours of television.
Yeah, that is a lot of television. How is there stuff you regret that you didn't get to go do? Or do you feel like you flew on a jet at the edge of the atmosphere. Yeah. You've gone faster than the speed of sound.
There's a couple of stories that I would have loved to have done. A couple of small stories. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm rebuilding a list.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that it's ever going to come up again. I don't know if I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't stop collecting myths. And it's not like I'm going to start to reboot Mythbusters, because I'm not. We're finished with this show. But it's still in my nature every time I see a news story that has something testable in it to put that on a list. And so it still goes on. 4 things went on in the last few days.
I think there's a place for that.
There is a place for that. Look, if someone else starts to make a Mythbusters show, I've got a lot of ideas for them.
When you do the Christmas special,
with the little Gary Coleman Chewbacca,
right? And Jamie gets buried in rubble under the building, and the whole family has to wait at the side. I think that may be the Brady Christmas special.
Now, speaking of burying the lead, we are going to talk about the Star Wars trailer, but I have to tell you a story.
Ooh.
Okay, I love stories.
You're not prepared for how intense this story is.
I'll set my phone to silent.
I have been doing Mythbusters for 14 years. One of my favorite things I've been doing on this show over the years is the driving stuff. I was not a great driver when we started doing Mythbusters. I was semi-distracted. I didn't pay enough attention. And Mythbusters has turned me into a bona fide stunt driver.
You guys have done a literal few dozen amazing car stunts.
Oh yeah, I've learned how to drive on 2 wheels. I've learned how to tactically drive a bus, 10-speed drifting on dirt, drifting on water, high-speed stuff. I mean, it's all over the map.
And how much of your brain does that use versus beforehand?
Oops. Oh, the Star Trek chair is waking up. Hold on.
It's coming alive.
Good night, Captain.
What was the question?
How much does your brain? I mean, when you say you weren't a good driver beforehand and afterward, you put in some context how much actually it takes to learn to be a good driver.
Well, it's iterative, like any skill. So you get good at things and you learn to internalize them. Probably until a couple of days ago, the best example of this was I was back east with my wife and we were driving through Westchester County in the winter, and I hit a patch of black ice, and the car started skidding, and I don't think my heart rate raised even a beat as I slowly guided the car back onto the road.
Just like Glenn.
And it's just like, no problem. 2 days later, my wife had to go, stop aiming for the black ice. Because I found it really fun. But, all the oversteer, understeer stuff that I've learned just made that a trivial thing to deal with. A couple of days ago, I am driving back from, where were we? We drove somewhere with the boys and the dogs. And we were driving back in my Land Cruiser.
It's a lot of people in the Land Cruiser.
No. We were in 2 cars.
Okay.
So my son and I were in my Land Cruiser, and we're on 280 heading north, right around the Ocean Avenue exit.
Okay.
When my steering wheel stopped working.
That's exciting.
To be clear, your 2 front wheels are linked together by an arm, and that arm has a joint on it that attaches to your power steering module. That is where your steering wheel connects to your car.
So were you steering? Was the wheel spinning and nothing would happen, or were you not able to turn
the
it?
knuckle that attaches my steering wheel to the yoke that holds the 2 front wheels together sheared.
Ooh.
So it's as if it had just pulled off.
Right. It is effectively, I was without a steering wheel I was going 50 miles an hour, and all of a sudden my steering wheel broke away, like nothing's happening.
280 gets curvy.
And I started swerving across all 4 lanes in full traffic.
Oh, this is terrifying.
Now, I always wanted a PA system in my car.
Yeah.
So I bought one. The thing is, you can't just buy a PA system. If you buy a PA system for your car, it always comes with a siren. Now, you're not allowed to activate that siren, but I did. This is the one case I figured no one's going to fault me for this. I had that sucker on within 1/2 of 1 second. When we were done, my son was like, that was fast. And I was like, woo, woo. It was as we're swerving across all 4 lanes. I managed to get into the shoulder with most of me out of the actual lane without being able to aim.
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
Shifting weights?
Momentum? If you're swerving,
we were going at
eventually you'll get there,
yeah,
right?
So, we just sort of got over, and then I stopped literally 2 inches away from the guardrail.
Wow.
And we sit there, and the cars that are going by are buffeting us.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
You must have been. When did you get the shakes? Was when you were on the?
We'll get to that in a minute. Again, I don't think my heart rate went up more than a couple of beats during that because I've dealt with tons of that stuff on the show, just never in real life.
Yeah.
So we paused. I called AAA. I said, can you put the highest priority on this? They said, we've put a note that you are being buffeted by the cars in the fast lane. And the tow service was there within 18 minutes.
Well, that's really fast.
They got me up on the flatbed. They took me to my shop. They took me to, Mythbusters shop where I had the car towed next day. And my son was like, I can't tell if that was cool or really freaky. And I was like, it is a combination of mostly freaky with a soupçon of cool.
Thing one or thing two?
Thing one.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. Here's where it showed.
God.
Where it showed was that I couldn't get to sleep that night. I didn't get to sleep until about 2 a.m. in the hotel in Vegas. I had to fly that evening to Las Vegas to do an appearance yesterday. This all happened on Sunday.
Wow.
And
were you just replaying it in your head over and over again?
It wasn't even like I was replaying it. It was more just like the adrenaline rush that I dealt with just totally threw me over the moon in terms of being able to be sort of, and it wasn't like I was irrational or even like shaky. It was just like, that's messed up. That was the scariest thing that has ever happened to me in a car, full stop. And I'm including all the things I've done
including
on
the upside down, almost drowning
upside
thing.
Down, upside down in a car in the water. That wasn't as scary as this.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I had my son in the car.
Exactly.
I mean, I still drive a little bit differently when I'm driving my daughter. But 280, we should paint a picture for people to know what 280 where you're talking about is. It's 6 lanes, probably 5 or 6 lanes at that point.
5 lanes.
And there's a ton of bridges, so there's bridge abutments everywhere.
Yep.
People drive between 55 and 90 miles an hour on that stretch of road.
Do.
And it gets curvy when you get into the city.
Yeah, and it's really windy.
And I'm really lucky that it was a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Because this was going to happen. This is like, I saw the bolt. The bolt was absolutely sheared. It's 1982, so it's a 24-year-old.
Yeah, it could have happened when you're coming down off Skyline or something really windy.
It's a 34-year-old bolt.
Yeah.
So I'm going to replace the entire front end steering arrangement. As my wife goes, you think?
Yeah.
So that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been an eventful week.
So you didn't get the shakes until that? You didn't get the shakes at all?
I didn't get the shakes at all. Like I said, I couldn't sleep, and I was, a little bit freaked out. Just like, you could just tell that I was freaked out because I wasn't thinking clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope to never again have to put my driving skills to that kind of test.
No, that would be good not to.
Good thing you had that siren.
So again, if you could see what I did on Thursday that I showed to Will and Norm that is part of the Mythbusters finale episode, and you heard that the losing my steering was rougher, you would be amazed.
Yeah.
Because what I did on Thursday is, until Sunday, the best driving of my entire life. The best driving of my entire life.
I don't know if the Sunday thing counts as the best driving since you didn't have any control over the car.
I stayed calm. I got the siren on, and I got myself to the shoulder.
It's essentially a train without rails at that point.
I guess you're right.
Tapping the brake.
Tapping the brake. Adjusting, tapping the brake, getting your siren on. All right. Let's talk about the really important thing.
Back to the Future Day.
Trailer.
Oh, wait. 25 years ago today.
I was sad that the Cubs didn't make it into the series.
Yeah, it was close.
Did the Cubs play baseball or football, Adam?
The one with the stripes. The other thing, aside from Mythbusters ending, the most tweets I think we got last week was about the new Star Wars trailer.
Wanting us to talk about it.
Yes, and so the important question here is, everyone have their tickets?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've got a pair. I've got 4 for the Kabuki at 4:00 on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
4 o'clock on Friday? The first show's at 7.
4:00 in the afternoon.
Friday.
The first show is on Thursday.
I
couldn't get Thursdays.
I will still be on tour
for
like 3 days. So I'll have to work that out. But
I'll assume yes.
If
somehow.
only you know someone who knows someone.
I knew somebody. I believe that.
I think there'll probably be some preview screenings out in the Bay Area as well.
There might be able to.
That I'm already working on weaseling into.
So, along with the tickets going on sale, I mean, the movie's not out for about 2 months at this point, a little less than 2 months.
Month and a half.
So there's also the final theatrical trailer.
Well, what they're saying is the final.
What they're saying, I believe it. It doesn't feel like a final theatrical trailer because, like the other trailers before it, while you're seeing a lot of visual elements, it doesn't tell you anything about the story that you didn't already know.
No.
Well,
well, the girl seems to be more prominent.
Yes. So I know some people out there will not want to hear too much spoiler. We can have like
About what we're assuming?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was going in cold. Thanks, guys.
You watched the trailer. We made you watch the trailer. What were your just without describing what's in the trailer or something? What were your feelings?
Oh God!
I wanted to throw money at the screen.
I got you. Shut up and take my money.
I want to see this right now.
I remind myself that I was excited at the episode 1 trailer.
It was a really good trailer.
It was a really good trailer.
When the things come over the grassy hill and you're like, oh, there's gonna be a huge fight. It's gonna be outside on grass. It's gonna be like Hoth, but outside. I want to see the and then
there's a lot of Jar Jar in that trailer. Also.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, I got misty. It felt great. I'm really excited about. I'm just really excited. I feel like I'm seeing exactly what Abrams does, which was pay homage and to modernize the franchise. And he is all you have to do is watch 8mm. No. Super 8.
8mm. Don't watch 8mm.
Not 8mm. Super 8. I'm always mixing that up. 8mm is a snuff film.
Both about 8mm film. Different,
Super 8.
Totally different context.
Hey, Mom.
He is bottle fed and vat grown on Spielberg and Lucas, and has retained, I think, their abilities of framing. And I mean framing in the wide scale, and love of adventurous storytelling. And so I have the highest hopes for this.
It made me think. So I won't get into specifics yet, but we'll talk about it in a minute. But it made me think about the original trilogy from a different perspective. So I thought, what would these events that we all have watched hundreds of times probably and are intimately familiar with look like to some poor schmo on Coruscant or Endor, probably those guys. The Endor genocide is well established in the literature.
That moon has gravitational wells.
Bad things happen when a Death Star explodes in low orbit over your planet.
I would imagine.
So if you didn't like the Ewoks, good news, everybody.
No more Ewoks.
Yeah, the Ewok genocide
It captures the mythology, both meta-mythology of our awareness of Star Wars in the cultural context, as well as what it could mean to these characters as well.
I love the. Can we talk about what's in the trailer?
Yes. So at this
People
point,
won't get upset if we do a.
At this point, if you're not going to watch trailers,
you got 25 minutes of good podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about the trailer.
Here's my question: where's Luke?
Yeah, I think the trailer.
I saw that on Twitter.
There's a lot said in the trailer and a lot shown visually, but I think it said thematically more about what it didn't show. With what it didn't show, and what it didn't show was one. Luke. Although you do see what everyone assumes is
Luke's hand
is the
on
hand
R2-D2.
in R2.
You kind of imagine.
I don't remember when.
There's in the teaser trailer, and I believe in this trailer, there's a brief shot of a fire at night, and you see R2,
and a hand reaches out of a cloak, a mechanical hand,
and you assume that's Luke. So he's also not on the movie poster.
Or is he? There are several masked characters, Norm.
He says he's obvious. Mark Hamill has said on Instagram he is not Kylo Ren.
Because clearly in the lead up to a marketing for a J.J. Abrams film, no one's ever lied.
It's the sound of that's
it's Adam Driver.
Well,
and it's Adam
they've never put a character in one costume and had another character do the voice.
They've in captions in Vanity Fair. Yes, it's very clear Adam Driver is Kylo Ren.
Okay.
So where's Luke? Obviously the Han Solo and the Princess Leia relationship and everything, their appearances, and I think Han Solo has the best line in the trailer.
I think that's the most important thing from the trailer.
It's all true.
It's all true.
Right. You realize it's become mythology over the last 30 years.
Well, I immediately went through and replayed all of the first 3 movies and was like, oh wait, okay, so Jedi were real in the Old Republic,
right?
And then there's 40 years, basically 35 years. And all of the stuff that happened that we know about, the Jedi fight at the end of episode 4,
right?
The Bespin fight, there were no witnesses.
Those are all isolated Jedi incidents.
We were the only witnesses of any of that.
Right.
And the last time Jedi were probably seen in public was when Ben Kenobi chopped that dude's arm off.
Right.
In Mos Eisley.
Exactly. So It's really exciting.
The trailer or the poster, because there is a theatrical poster, which I'm not the biggest fan of. It's not a Drew Struzan, but it has Kylo Ren with his cross-hilt lightsaber and Daisy Ridley's character, which I don't exactly remember her name. I believe it's Rey, but she has her staff and they're lined together.
Yeah.
So I know in the extended universe doesn't exist in this new movie trilogy, but in the extended universe there was a set of twins. There were, I believe,
Han Solo,
Han and Leia had twins,
yeah.
and they both had Force powers, and it was a big part of that story.
Oh.
And so this could be paying homage to that. I don't know.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
I think the biggest thing, I think Luke being Luke is like the Spock of the movie. Right?
Yeah, I get the
2009.
feeling that Luke might be the Yoda.
Or the Yoda or the Spock, right? Where in 2009, we knew Leonard Nimoy was part of the movie, but his appearance in it was a surprise. It was in the middle of the movie, and he connects everything together. And what I love about, and we're talking about Star Trek in this context, is they didn't have to kill Spock at the end of that movie. He got
Kirk,
to live on,
for that matter.
Or Kirk and Spock, Leonard Nimoy, rest in peace. His character got to live on in that universe, just in the background. I love that. He got to walk off into the sunset for some extent.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen here.
Well, I don't know either. I found myself loving the shot of Han and Chewie with their arms up, lowering their arms. This is a classic American cinema shot in which your heroes think they're in trouble, but they end up meeting an old friend.
Yeah.
And my question is, who do they meet? Who is it they're meeting there as we're not in danger? It's like right out of the Magnificent Seven. Oh, no. My fantasy is that it's Carrie Fisher. Like the film's going to take great. So you imagine from a screenwriting standpoint, Larry Kasdan, I love you. You imagine from a screenwriting standpoint that you've got to expend a certain amount of energy getting to Han, and then Leia. Han, Leia, and Luke are all reveals. I don't think you just start out knowing about them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's Act 1 is all what's happened in the 20 years since the Death
so maybe
Star
Act
blew
1
up.
is Han, Act 2 is Leia, and Act 3 is Luke.
And also, the main characters of the film are not those characters. For all intents and purposes, they are special appearances, guest appearances. We can't. The new trilogy is not going to be about Luke, Han, and Leia.
Also, by the way, I harbor no special knowledge on this front.
None of us do.
Yeah. The things that I've heard from behind the scenes are merely qualitative things, like friends of mine at Lucasfilm who are saying it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, God. My theory is that Adam Driver is redeemed.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I mean, that's the big question. Is it's unclear to me who the big bad is, right? I mean, we're supposed to think it's Adam Driver,
Right.
I mean,
Kylo
It's
Ren.
pretty.
I think
I love the way he holds that lightsaber, the kind of aggressive way he's holding it every time it goes on. It's not like a more elegant age. This is more like I'm going to slice you in half, mofo.
But then you also see Rey looking incredibly angry.
Yeah.
Like she's shooting a blaster and looking super pissed. So, I mean,
I also think that I also found myself wondering that structure you see her climbing on in the beginning of the trailer looks a lot like the structure Obi-Wan was on in Star Wars when he disables the Death Star tractor beam.
Yes, in the center.
well, it could be the inside of that crashed Star Destroyer that we see on whatever.
Exactly.
That's what
I think it's absolutely.
I
and I suspect that's on the planet Arrakis or something like that.
Yeah. You got to walk off step or else the sandworms come.
It's the spice. That's what they're fighting over.
If what's his name is there.
There is a parody Twitter feed that is only tweeting quotes from Dune. Except wherever the word spice is, they've added the word pumpkin.
Oh, that's the funniest.
I have to tell you, I heard that and I was like, oh, rolled my eyes. And then I started reading it. Every single one is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
It's the pumpkin spice that allows them to do what they do.
And if you watch the movie, you hear it in that voice.
Yeah, forget about it. They've ruined it forever.
Yeah.
Luke, I think, will be a big reveal. I think the biggest reveal have not yet been even teased at yet.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure they've got something up their sleeve that's giant.
I mean, that's the thing is Adam Driver's is the Darth Maul in this situation, right?
Well, hopefully he's more interesting than El Diablo.
Okay, so, but I'm just saying there's always a low-level bad guy, and then there's the big bad.
You don't hire Adam Driver to not be complex.
No.
And so, that's very exciting. I will tell you, by the way, that the first time I saw Darth Maul, when I worked at Industrial Light and Magic, we would once a month gather together to watch all of the shots that had been completed by the company that month. And there was a guy in the edit room up there who would cut together all the completed effects shots, but they weren't with sound. That's a totally different thing. So he'd just cut it to some cool piece of music, and you'd go once a month and to see theater, where we watched the Martian screening last week. And you'd sit there for probably 35 minutes to some cool soundtrack and you'd watch like A Perfect Storm mixed with bits from Pearl Harbor, mixed with bits from episode 2. And that was the first time I saw Darth Maul. And we were, I must say, from inside the company, we were making lots of fun of Darth Maul from the very beginning. We called him El Diablo.
I mean,
he looked like a Mexican wrestler.
But
With
he had a lightsaber with 2 blades.
2 blades.
They became 2 one-bladed lightsabers.
Yeah.
It's still a great fight. That's the best part of the movie.
It's the best part of the whole prequel.
Yeah, and that's not saying a lot.
And it says a lot about the music. Just like
Duel of the Fates is incredible.
John Williams is just the master. It's just like when you start to make a list of iconic movie soundtrack themes, and you realize they're all John's. I mean,
but the knock
James
against
Horner,
John Williams is they
Williams.
kind of all sound the same.
I just
not in the Danny Elfman way.
I know,
No, not in the Danny Elfman way.
I know there are times when it feels like he's borrowing from himself, but I mean, God, let this, that's fine considering that we get Raiders and Jaws and Star Wars and Superman and it's
Close
crazy.
Encounters.
Oh my God,
Danny
Close
Elfman.
Encounters.
Yeah.
Close Encounters is still amazing.
I haven't watched that in about 20 years. I need to go back to it again.
It's fantastic.
I
I watched it about 5 years ago, and it's still really riveting and incredible.
Okay, so what are your takeaways going into the final push for the Star Wars stuff? Do you think JJ is going to pull into Star Trek Into Darkness?
Reboot the universe?
Here you see him, here you don't. He's not going to reboot the universe. He can't do that.
No.
There's no time travel.
So what do you mean by?
Well, I mean, with Into Darkness, he said, spoilers for Into Darkness, he said, oh, no, there's no Khan. And then Benedict Cumberbatch clearly was Khan. Yeah. And then he flipped the ending of Search for Wrath of Khan.
Right. No, I feel like Look, I have no idea. Obviously, I think it's hilarious to speculate from a trailer on the plot of a movie that hasn't come out yet. And I'm only doing it on this one because I'm so freaking excited that it's coming out. JJ is brilliant. Larry Kasdan's one of my favorite screenwriters. Silverado, woo!
Should I see Silverado?
Silverado's amazing.
Oh, I've never seen
Silverado is a phenomenal movie. And Kasdan is just one of the he's one of the true great old guard Hollywood screenwriters. So I just have the highest hopes that this film is genuinely great.
Yeah, and
I'm really excited.
One of the reasons Star Wars endures is that it's a classic hero's journey.
Yeah.
And I think that if JJ is going to pay tribute to anything, it is going to be the hero's journey. Mm-hmm. And the new trilogy will be about new heroes, but the arc of the story of someone from nowhere becoming an important person and becoming a real person, that is what we hope to see.
My guess is her parents are dead.
You think?
Not for real. I know. That's what you do. You've got to orphan your hero right off the bat.
But the orphan, I figured the hero is the stormtrooper.
John Boyega. Oh, I'm making the assumption that the girl's the hero.
Maybe they're both.
You know what? I think that the thing he might take from Star Trek is camaraderie, and Star Wars is that it's going to be about all of their relationships, their friendships. It's Goonies. Right. It's Super 8. It's ragtag team of people from different places coming together and then having an impact on the world.
Which is the best of Star Wars.
And at the key moment where they're all going to be riding bicycles towards the...
and then they fly up into the air.
Exactly.
Over the new Death Star.
John Boyega's riding in the basket of Daisy, what's her last name? Ridley's bicycle.
The last thing I will say about speculation is if you look at the original cast announcement, there's one person that they announced in the cast that has not appeared in anything.
Oh, who is that?
I don't even want to say it. Even I think by saying it, I think we'll say But if you want to think about it, you can look at the original press releases
What
for
a
like
tease.
John Boyega.
Wow.
I'll tell you guys after the recording.
Yeah, no, I know you will.
Johnny Boyega, Daisy Ridley, the newcomers, and then there's like a cast photo. Remember that classic black and white photo where
Yeah.
they're all at the round table and
Yeah.
stuff like that? And people forgotten that they announced a cast member that has not, and it's not Donald Gleason.
All right.
If you haven't seen it, somebody, Medley Weaver went back and recut
Yes.
footage from the original trilogy using the same voiceover techniques as is used in this Force Awakens trailer.
And a soundtrack.
And soundtrack. It is fabulous.
All right. Awesome.
Really, really worth
Awesome.
watching.
I will totally do that.
If you search for it, there's an IO9 story that's called This Force Awakens style trailer with the original trilogy footage gives us thrills. Chills.
Chills.
Yeah.
Excellent. I think that's a great place to stop.
Throw your phone.
Get your tickets.
Yeah. If you haven't got your tickets yet, I think you're probably boned.
So I would like to do a special podcast in the next couple of weeks of questions about Mythbusters.
I think it's a good idea.
Specific questions about Mythbusters ending. I'd love to answer your questions.
It probably won't be next week.
Yep.
Because I hope we're going to record another one after this, but I don't think we have time now.
I don't think we have time now.
Okay, but we'll do it soon.
Yeah.
And we're going to be in Alcatraz tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna be
we
out.
recorded this morning.
We did.
This is like real time.
So we're going to do, what are we going to talk? Are we going to do the spoiler cast of The Rock? It's what I've always wanted to do on Alcatraz.
We're going to talk about some Alcatraz stuff. It's gonna be fun.
All right.
Okay, good. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.